Imagine you're 25 years old. Let's call you Mia. You're not rich, you're not struggling, you're just normal. You get paid on Friday, and by Monday morning, your money has already mechanically sorted itself into its usual destinations: rent, groceries, gas. Then comes the secondary drain: the subscriptions hitting your account, a birthday gift for a friend, a dinner out on Saturday, a random online purchase that seemed like a great idea at 11 o'clock at night. When the dust settles, there's usually a little surplus left over. Let's say it's about $500. It's an awkward amount. It's not quite enough to feel like life-changing wealth, but it's just enough to easily disappear without a trace. Most people never think twice about this surplus. Society conditions us to treat a small surplus as spending money, ignoring its potential as the raw material for building wealth. But what if that $500 never got spent? What if, before life could grab it, Mia intercepted that cash and invested it every single month without fail for the next 30 years? Month 1 feels almost entirely disappointing. You move the money into an investment account, check the balance a week later, and it's still sitting right around $500. There's no sudden financial freedom. It's just a stagnant number sitting quietly on a screen. This is the exact moment most people lose interest. While your account is growing painfully slowly, your friends are posting pictures from expensive weekends. They're showing off new gadgets and cars. The gratification of their spending is loud and highly visible. Early-stage investing is a brutal psychological trap. Being patient feels exactly like missing out. But while spending creates a quick spike of excitement that fades rapidly into nothing, invested money keeps working long after the thrill of a purchase has disappeared. Advance to year 1. You've consistently invested $6,000. The market has added a little growth, pushing your balance higher than your total contributions. You didn't work a second job, and you didn't sell anything. This breaks a deeply ingrained habit. Most people spend their entire lives strictly trading their time for income. This tiny bit of growth is the first time you experience money working completely independently of your own physical effort. By year 3, the account crosses $20,000. A psychological shift happens here. You stop looking at the account as a static pile of savings and start treating it as a functional machine. Every dollar inside that machine acts like a tireless employee, working 24 hours a day, never asking for a raise. As the system scales up, every $500 you drop into the account simply hires more workers to operate the machine. This is compound growth in action. It isn't magic, and it doesn't require luck. It is simply the undeniable, mathematical process of money hiring more money to do the heavy lifting for you. At year 5, your personal contributions hit $30,000, but the account is worth much more. The real goal of investing starts to reveal itself. You aren't trying to get rich quickly. You are trying to reach the critical mass where the money itself actively builds your wealth. It works exactly like a snowball rolling down a steep hill. The exponential acceleration starts off tiny and frustratingly slow, but eventually it gathers enough mass to outgrow the initial push that started it. 10 years pass. The account crosses 6 figures. $100,000 is a major mathematical threshold. Below this number, you are building the system. Above it, the system begins to replicate itself. You hit a point of absolute momentum. In a good year, the market is now generating more total wealth inside your account than the 12 months of deposits you put into it. This is where the math takes over. True financial momentum happens when compounding moves from a quiet background process to an active, dominant partner in wealth generation. We jump forward through years 15 to 20. Life gets complicated. There are promotions, sudden setbacks, and unexpected bills. Yet through it all, the automated investment blindly continues. There is a persistent myth that successful investors possess some unique inherent genius. The data proves otherwise. The people who win long-term are just more consistent. A mechanical routine will always defeat sporadic bursts of intense motivation. 2 decades later, the compounded wealth is a massive, permanent fixture in Mia's life. Meanwhile, she struggles to recall the specific Saturday dinners, random sales, and gadgets she passed up at age 25. Long-term consistency inevitably erases the memory of short-term sacrifice. The skipped purchases fade into nothing, leaving behind only the accumulated results of raw discipline. Finally, year 30 arrives. Mia is now 55 years old. That $500 monthly habit has grown into a serious financial asset, likely worth well over $500,000. Looking back, those monthly deposits functioned as building blocks for your future independence. You are using that $500 as the raw fuel for a machine designed to buy back your time. Every single month presented a choice between spending now or building later. Neither option felt critical in the moment, but repeated hundreds of times over 30 years, those choices created two completely different lives. You have to evaluate your own daily habits against this math, because the next 30 years will pass regardless of what you do.
The only question is, when those 30 years are over, will you be glad you spent the money or grateful you invested it?